So I have kind of this love-hate relationship with Premiere Pro. On the one hand, it is this amazingly deep, malleable tool that helps creators, big and small, produce amazing works from YouTube videos to movies, Hollywood movies. And on the other hand, it has one of the most difficult software learning curves ever, especially if you're coming over from something like iMovie and you're just starting out and you want to take your videos to the next level. Learning Premiere Pro can be extremely hard. But what I want to do today is I want to give you guys 5 tips, 5 super easy tips that will help navigate you through Premiere Pro a lot easier and will help you produce videos at better quality and much faster. Let's jump into it. Okay, so here we are in Premiere Pro, and the very first tip I want to show you guys is called playback resolution. Now what that means is if you look here, you'll see the word full. This drop-down menu sets your playback resolution. What does that mean? Well, I personally film in 4K. I like the way it looks, I like the video resolution, I like the way it exports. But my MacBook sort of chugs along on 4K footage. It's not a very old MacBook, it's just how it processes the footage. It doesn't have a very good video card. But if I click here, I can change the resolution it plays back at. So instead of having that hitching and that stuttering, it'll play back normally, and then when I pause, it'll show me in full 4K. That's tip number 1. Tip number 2 is going to be something that I was beating my head against the wall for like the longest time when it came to Premiere Pro, and that is called smooth scrolling. What's smooth scrolling? Well, if you are coming over from iMovie, you'll know that as your video is playing, the playhead will move with it. So the playhead will move and your project will move with it. You won't be stuck in one place. But in Premiere Pro, that's not the case. So what we want to do for smooth scrolling is we want to go to here, Preferences, Timeline, and we're going to want to change Page Scroll to Smooth Scroll. We want to hit that bad boy. And now, when my playhead gets to the end of the timeline, it'll move with it. As you can see, so now if I pause, I'm in the same place, right? The playhead is moving with my timeline. Once you start adding videos and graphics and adjustment layers and colors and music and this and that, zooming in and out to change the size, it's super easy to lose your place on your project timeline. So turning on smooth scroll knocks out an issue right off the bat. It makes it really, really simple. All right, that was tip number 2. Tip number 3 is called adjustment layers. Now, what's an adjustment layer? Well, an adjustment layer is kind of this clear sort of blank layer that you place above your video file. Now, this comes into play when you're color grading. Now, while I didn't shoot this video flat, the application is all the same. So you want to hit this little page here, new item, and you want to do new adjustment layer, right? If I were to be color grading this file, let's do it like this. So let's say this file was actually a couple different files, right? If I would want to color grade this now, we go into color. We can go here, select. We go into input LUT. It's on my creatives. I think I have a couple LUTs saved. Shout out to everybody who sells LUTs. I love buying LUTs. Let's go here. Orange, right? Now we go to this clip, and it's orange. Cool. That's not really the look I'd be going for. But if we go to the next clip, let's say I made all these really fine adjustments to this one clip here. I got it to look exactly the way I want it to, but I want my project to have a cohesive color space to it. This wouldn't work. I would have to manually do that every single time, unless I use an adjustment layer. And what an adjustment layer is you place it above your timeline, you stretch it out over the entirety of your project here. You take off, obviously, the LUT on this one. But now, instead of adjusting each individual clip, you can just adjust the adjustment layer, hence the name. What was that? Orange. And now, no matter which clip we're on, every clip has been affected equally by the same values. Super cool, right? Obviously, this doesn't look very good, and if I was to color grade this myself, I'm by no means a good color grader. You need a lot of light, and you need a really big sensor to really make color grades work, and you need a really fine eye for it. Not something I have. I like to color straight out of camera. That's just me. But if you're someone who likes to color grade, this is for you. Tip number three, over. Let's move on. Tip number 4. And that is multi-band compressor. Now, audio in a video, to me at least personally, is just as important. Now, maybe you don't have the best mic, maybe you don't have the best settings. Cool, great. What you can do, and I'll show this here as well to sort of really demonstrate the effect. You would go down here to your effects panel and look up multi-band, not nulty, multi-band compressor. And you're going to want to drag that over your audio file here. And once you have it here, open in your effects panel, you can go to custom setup and you can go to edit. Now, if you're not someone who has the best microphone, if you're not someone who has the best kit to it, this makes audio editing really easy because you have all these great presets built in that are tailor-made for video production, for microphones. I'm a big fan of broadcast, so if we want to switch to the broadcast setting, it would sound like this. And now we're talking on the broadcast setting, and you can hear the difference, and all of that is dialed in. Or if we wanted to maybe do some hiss reduction. I know my MacBook's pretty loud. This is what it sounds like with hiss reduction. This is a really great tool, and it really makes it a lot less daunting to approach audio in your videos. You want people to enjoy what they're hearing, even if what they're looking at is really cool. If what they're hearing isn't great, they're gonna jump out, and it really sort of kills the mood. Now, if you are a audiophile and you really like mixing up your waves and your sounds, cool. But if you're like the average Joe, like how most people are when they start out, this is a really great, really accessible tool that makes coming to a place where you're a lot better and more confident in your work super simple. That was tip number 4. Now for finally, this is a new feature, tip number 5, and it's something a lot of people have been asking Adobe for, and shout out to you, Adobe. This is so cool, and that is auto reframe. So what is auto reframe? Well, auto reframe is Adobe taking your entire video and sizing it for different media sizes. It places motion keyframes that focus on the action. It keeps everything in line. It is one of the coolest things I have ever seen. And it makes exporting to Instagram, to TikTok, to all these different online platforms super easy, right? So what you're gonna wanna do is right click over your sequence, and you're just gonna wanna click auto reframe sequence. And it's gonna come up with either a square 1x1, which is like a square Instagram video, a vertical 4x5, which is like a rectangle Instagram video that you post on your page, or a vertical 9x16. Let's go vertical 9x16. Let's say I wanted to share this as a story. Create. After some analyzing, and we see here, it just analyzes it for you, gives you a little percent marker. It will place all your motion keyframes in there for you. Keyframing is one of the sort of most simple yet easiest to mess up things in Premiere Pro in terms of getting it just right to keep all your stuff in action, to know how to place them on the timeline. It's something I struggled with a lot when I was first learning it, and for Adobe to just give you a software where it does it for you is awesome. And here we go. As you can see, now we're in 9x16, and if we press play, you see that? It keeps everything in shot. Now, it's not perfect, but it will sense your subject, it'll sense the motion, it will pick up and it'll make these micro movements across the frame to keep you in focus and keep your video looking great so that you can export it to all your online platforms of choice. And that's pretty much it, folks. 5 tips to help your videos get done faster, get done better, so you can get back to doing all the stuff you like making cool videos. If you guys have any questions, drop them down in the comments. Drop a comment down and let me know if you have any trouble with any of these. I'll be happy to help you guys out. But until next time, leave a like, leave a subscribe. Go out there and make something cool today. I'll see you guys on the next one.